All right, let's bring in Craig Button this morning. If you are watching over on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Just sub to us on YouTube, and let's discuss this series here. We're going to get to the Leafs fallout in a second, Craig, and there's lots to discuss there, but the Oilers and Stars will get underway tomorrow. We saw what happened last year. The Edmonton won Game 1, lost Games 2 and 3, and then took the next 3 to eliminate the Stars in 6 games. So let's just start here. How much does Mikko Rantanen change things, and how do the Oilers have to approach him?
Oh, Mikko Rantanen is a big-time difference maker. There's no question. You have to make sure you're aware of him on the ice. And he's a player that is not going to shrink versus the challenges. He's shown that over his playoff career. This isn't just about this playoffs. He's done it time and time again. He's a big-time player. That line is really good. Granlund, Hintz, and Rantanen are really good. And I like what Peter DeBoer did going 11-7 because – your seventh defenseman, whether he sits in the stands or plays 5 minutes in a game, depending on what unfolds, gives him the opportunity to double shift Rantanen. And that's what he did. He put Rantanen up because Rantanen's a horse. Rantanen can play a lot of minutes. So what are you better off having? Are you better off having the opportunity to double shift Rantanen than a 12th forward? I think they are because he can handle it. So that's just one area of their team. I think the other area that Dallas benefits from is you have Heiskanen back, and Heiskanen's healthy and ready to go, and Harley. And so now you're playing against, you have one of those guys out against McDavid or Draisaitl, which I think helps. I think that's something that, and it's different this year with Harley. Harley's gone to another level in his game. So I think those two things, I think that, are a little bit different now for the Dallas Stars as opposed to last year versus the Edmonton Oilers in the conference final.
Craig, I know you've spoke about your admiration of Knoblauch and how he can kind of tweak things, within a series, within a game. Which way would you go, or do you think he will go in terms of shutting down a Rantanen? Is this a system? Is it a player? Is it a collection of a line? Maybe a simple answer of goaltending. But how do you see, if the Oilers are going to, how do you see them shutting down Mikko Rantanen?
Well, what I would say is just go and look at what he did against Jack Eichel in the Vegas Golden Knights. And when you start to watch how the team plays defense and their defensive play, I don't think they have to change anything. I think they just have to understand, okay, this is how Dallas is going to attack. The teams don't have vastly different offensive sets, so to speak. I'm using a football term, Dustin, as you're getting ready for the CFL. But it's about making sure that you're putting players into positions where they're not allowed to roam freely. They're not allowed to move into those dangerous spots. And if they do get there, you're ready to close them off. And when I watch the Edmonton Oilers play defensive hockey, it's really strong. It's really, really good. We've seen it for 2 seasons under Chris Knoblauch. Yes, there's going to be times when it kind of doesn't look the same, and they might not be as good as when they're on top of it, but they're on top of it now. And I think that's what it comes down to. When you look at their ability to what I call suffocate the opponent, that's not one player. This idea of one player is going to shadow, it's about, okay, we're going to funnel a player, and then the next player is going to close them off, and then we're going to try to get the puck. And in the defensive zone, the Edmonton Oilers are so strong in 2 areas. I'm going to go 3 areas. Number one, they keep you outside, and they do not let you come inside into that slot area. It's really hard to get in there. The second thing that they do exceptionally well is they rotate. It's not about one player, and if he gets free, it comes there. They're able to rotate and push players into positions where they can either get the puck out or transition. And the number 3, they're quick to get the puck out of the zone. Those defensemen move that puck incredibly quick, and their team does to get moving the other way. So you put those 3 things together, that is a template for really good, strong defensive play. And you keep the pressure off your goaltender. Nobody's going to sit here and go, geez, Edmonton is even in the goaltending department. Ottinger's a better goaltender, full stop. But if you play really good defense and you get goaltending that's at the level of their capabilities, you're going to win. And that's what it is right now for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, Skinner had a .922 save percentage in the 6 games against Dallas last year, so he was outstanding. You get that type of goaltending again, you'll probably be okay. So you saw Winnipeg in that series against St. Louis, and everybody was hitting everything that moves, and it was a different series against Dallas. The Oilers are coming in after series against the Kings and Vegas, a Vegas series that was very physical. Zach Hyman having games 12, 13 hits. Obviously, Evander Kane getting involved, Frederick getting involved. Do you expect this Dallas series to be much of a physical one, Craig, or is this a little bit of a different beast?
No, I think it'll be physical. I think that the way Edmonton approached the series, I mean, it was a hard series versus LA, and it was hard versus Vegas, and you want to make it as hard as possible on your opponent. I think that goes without saying, and I think Edmonton can do that. But Dallas is up for the challenge. I mean, they can play heavy and they can play hard, and they're willing to engage in those areas, and they will. And the thing is that if you think you're going to, I don't think physical play is like people go, oh, we're going to just play physical and wear you down and take chunks out of you. Yeah, the game is hard, and it's. I think it's more about the competitive attention that. You're fighting for every inch of space. You're fighting for everything out there. So the game, the friction increases in the game. And I think when you're got a chance to win a series and go to the Stanley Cup, I think that friction increases and it becomes more intense.
We talked about the 11-7 on the back end for Dallas, and I look at Dallas's blue line, and Harley, you mentioned, has taken a step this year. Heiskanen's coming back, but obviously he's good. I love Esa Lindell. But what about Lyubushkin, Ceci, Bishop, Petrovic? I mean, those guys that the Oilers forwards can get to and cause some major issues, or do you think that second half of the Stars blue line holds up okay?
Well, that's what the Dallas Stars have to hope for. Getting Heiskanen back it's not just that Heiskanen plays 25 minutes. He takes 25 hard minutes. So that means that you don't have to find players to fill in those 25 minutes. Hey, if I'm looking and scouting the Dallas Stars, the soft underbelly of their team is that right side D. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm trying to attack. And, I can sit here and say, hey, they held up and they've done pretty good. Their goaltender's been really good. Their defensive play in Dallas, these playoffs, hasn't been all that great. Their goaltender has been great. Their goaltender has covered up some of their defensive woes. Now, Heiskanen was out for a stretch of that, and that's going to contribute to it. But if you're the Edmonton Oilers, that's definitely an area that you want to look to try to, widen it up. If that's an area that you think you can get through, open up that area and try to exploit it.
How big a boost do you think it would be to get Ekholm back if he does play? Skated with the main group yesterday, not going to play in the first couple of games, but this is an Oilers team who's got through 2 rounds without him, and the blue line's held up relatively well. You throw him back in the mix here, and my goodness, I mean, no matter what you get from him, probably be pretty positive.
Yeah, I mean, how big of a boost? Yeah,
it depends. Even if he's 70%, you think? What do you need from Ekholm?
Hey, listen, the opportunity to have Matthias Ekholm at 50% is a great addition. And he to the Edmonton Oilers defense is what Heiskanen is to the Dallas Stars defense returning. You lessen the minutes that the other players have to fill in that are demanding. Remember, when Ekholm goes out, it's not like, just go play those minutes. Those are hard minutes that Ekholm plays and manages and masters. And so to me, getting him back at 70%, 80%, that's significant. That's a real significant addition back into your lineup.
Let's get a quick thought on the other series, which gets going here right away. Carolina, Florida. Florida coming in after a Game 7 victory in Toronto against the Leafs. These two teams have recently met in the same spot as well in a Florida sweep. Is it different this time around with that Carolina group?
Okay, so let's go back to that sweep. It was a 4-overtime game, an overtime game, and 5 seconds left in the game that Florida ended up on. That series was really close. That series was closer than it looked like with the 4-game sweep. The Carolina Hurricanes are playing really strong hockey, and we know how they play. Everybody knows how they play, and they're committed to it. And I think where Florida has an advantage is with their third line. or their second line. I just think when you get 3 lines deep with Florida, I think that might be a challenge for the Carolina Hurricanes. And can they hold up? Yeah, they can hold up. Do I think that this series is going to be a sweep? Not at all. Do I think that Carolina could win the series? Yeah, I do. I think they could. If they can find a way to make sure that they don't become vulnerable playing against those top 3 lines, and right now I'm not so sure they can, but if they can, they have every bit as good opportunity to advance as the Florida Panthers, in my view.
Craig, we sometimes take sick pleasure here in watching the Maple Leafs not succeed, of course, with the fan base here, the rivalry, Western, Eastern Canada, all that. But where do they go from here? We discussed earlier, you're a decade plus now with the Shanna plan. Marner's yelling at guys with bone dry hair. Austin Matthews failing to produce, albeit, I mean, you could argue injured, but whatever, lots of people are. Just a myriad of issues. And then the Panthers taking a full clawed swipe at the fan base. Like, where do you see this thing going now moving forward in terms of players, management? I don't know if anybody's safe, really.
I like your term, full clawed.
They had
after the fan base. That was good. That was really well done. Well done, Eric. I first of all, I think Maurice, Marchand, and Tkachuk were just trolling. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, imagine you're asking the Florida Panthers players about the Toronto Maple Leafs after you just dusted them. Like, okay, what are they going to say? Yeah, we have no respect for them. Yeah, we whipped their asses. Like, the Toronto Maple Leafs scored 4 goals in the last 4 games of the series. 4 goals. Okay, and oh, wait a second. Last year, the year before that. Here's what I said last night on Jay, and I firmly believe it. The Shanna plan started out with him trying to change, the environment around there, and he came in and he made changes, and then the next thing was acquire talent. They ended up getting some really good players, and certainly trying to get Austin Matthews. They accomplished that, and then they decided. And this was Shanahan full signed off on this with Kyle Dubas. They wanted to be an artistic team. They thought that they were going to change the template of success in the NHL. There was a hubris to it and an arrogance. And more than that, an unfounded arrogance, because Kyle Dubas had won nothing. And who put him in place? Brendan Shanahan. So if you want to change the entire template of success in the National Hockey League with your experiment, go ahead. I'll be ready to applaud you if you can do it. But there has never been any evidence. You can go all the way back in time. There are certain fundamentals in the game and in the sport of hockey that when it becomes hard in the playoffs that aren't changing. And he thought that I could have wide receivers be my offensive line. I could have DBs form my linebacker core. And he wanted to be an artist. He thought being artistic was the way that they were going to. He was going to show everybody. And don't take my word for it. I quote, I'll bet my career on it. Well, guess what? In the Toronto market, the biggest market in the planet for hockey, you went with an experiment? Are you kidding me? Like, give me a break. It's been a spectacular failure. And unless somebody in Toronto comes out and says, we're happy being an artistic team and having regular season success, and it doesn't really matter what happens in the playoffs, we'll take our chances, that's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the playoffs matter, and that's right from Brendan Shanahan. To continue along this path, and remember, these players have been conditioned to play that way. That's how they were conditioned under Dubas and Keefe. And so now you're playing in the playoffs, and now it's hard. Brad Treliving has some work to do, and my view is nothing should be off the table. Everything should be considered.
What do you think about Marner's value heading into unrestricted free agency? I still feel, that free agency window is such a wild time. He's going to get paid, but has he taken a bit of a blow here over the last little while?
I don't think he should. I think Mitch Marner's an excellent player. I think he's amongst the best players in the National Hockey League. He's proven that time and time again. I don't think this is about Mitch Marner or John Tavares. I think this was about a philosophy that failed. Like when you go in and you say this is the way we're going to play, and that's, remember they were all young players. They conditioned them that way to play that way. And then they got their comeuppance. They go, wait, we can't play that way. We can, oh boy, this is hard. You can't. We know that the regular season is different than the playoffs. But Kyle Dubas, I quote, I'll bet my career on it. You're betting your career on an experiment that had no legs, and he was cheerleaded. He was cheerleaded for it and allowed to do it. So when you start to look at what Brad Treliving has in front of him, I don't think it's about Mitch Marner or John Tavares. It's about what do we do to make our team better. I said this last night on Jay. The Florida Panthers in 2022 won the President's Trophy. They lost the second round in a 4-game sweep to Tampa Bay and scored 3 goals. Bill Zito said enough. Bill Zito said enough. He made significant changes, and in that time, and still with series to play, they won 9 playoff rounds because Bill Zito said, that's not the way we're doing it. And until Toronto says we're not doing it this other way, it's not going to change. When they show you who they are and what they are, believe them.
Great stuff, Craig, as always, man. Love you bringing that fire. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, we will. It's going to be a good series.
Oh, can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. There you go. That's Craig Button, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. The guys at Pro-Am will be open on Sunday morning for all you fans coming in for the game. They'll be open from 9 until 1, even all you local fans. If you want to pop on over to Pro-Am and then head down to the rink, that'll work out pretty well for you as well. You can check out everything they have for you online at proamsports.ca.